Good afternoon, everyone. This is Ken McNabb with the MOV Weather and a severe weather discussion for tomorrow, Sunday, March 22nd. A level 2 slight risk of severe weather exists for most of the region as issued by the Storm Prediction Center, with the exception of a small little part of Roane County. But with the 25-mile margin of error, you're basically under the level 2 risk as well. The main concerns are damaging wind and large hail, but what draws my attention to this one is the potential of hail of more than 2 inches in diameter. That doesn't happen all that often in the Mid-Ohio Valley. Most hail that falls is usually 1.5 inches or less in diameter, so that definitely has my attention. 15% wind probability, which means that there's a 15% chance that there's a damaging wind report within 25 miles of a point within the risk area. Same with the hail, 15% as well. And then tornado, very low risk, not zero, but very low, 2% within 25 miles. So breaking down each individual risk a little further, the tornado risk doesn't apply to the entire slight area, but it does apply to most of it, except for southern Roane and a very little area of Calhoun County. So small that I can't even see it on the map, but it's there. But for all intents and purposes, you're all under the 2, just as everybody's under the 15, despite the presence of this small area of 5 within the wind and hail risks. And then finally, the conditional intensity. That's what drew my attention to this outlook. The tornado conditional intensity is at 0, which means at worst they expect any tornado to be EF1 or EF0, if any happen at all, of course. The wind, 0 as well, which means they expect the reports to be within 58 to 74 miles per hour. But then hail, the southern part of the region is under the 0 conditional intensity, which means they don't expect hail to be more than 2 inches in diameter. But a zone above, basically above US 33 in West Virginia, that's in the level 1 conditional intensity, which means that hail could be 2 to 3.5 inches in diameter. Although, based on what the Storm Prediction Center is saying, they expect most reports to be closer to 2. So we'll have to watch that very closely, and I will be watching that closely as well. Looking at the models, got 2 of them for you this afternoon. First, we have the NAM 3K. That's the North American model that is the highest resolution, so we can see more minute details. This is at 6 p.m. tomorrow. There's a line that starts southeast of Columbus, basically the Groveport, Canal, Winchester area. And that goes up to Pittsburgh. Part of it breaks off there, but then the line continues over to Altoona, Pennsylvania. And appropriate enough, it curves at Altoona. So we start at 6. There's 7 and 8 and 9. If you notice on this model here, the discrete cells are not in the Mid-Ohio Valley. They're in Pennsylvania, they're in extreme eastern West Virginia, and in Maryland, going toward Washington, D.C. and Baltimore. This area here is something we'd have to watch for hail, especially. We get to 10, 11, 12. Front moves through, but then there's these cells back here that could also possibly drop some hail. So 1, 2, we continue through the morning at 4, 5, 6, and it finally moves out by about 7 or 8, leaving skies to start clearing, sun to come out, and for Monday to be much cooler than tomorrow. That's the NAM model, the 12Z NAM. This is the 12Z HRRR. This is the most recent completed run of the HRRR, so that matches with the 12Z NAM. The 18Z HRRR is generating right now, and I'll take another look at that before I stop film here. And if it's done, we'll go through it. But if not, I'll leave that for later, or at least for my own purposes when I provide an update later. So we start at 6 with this one. There's nothing around at 6 according to the HRRR, but then 7 comes around. 8, boom. Suddenly there's this. Could there be a line that forms? I mean, it's similar to the line that is shown on the NAM model. This is like too ropey of a line in my opinion. Like, I think they're going to be cells like you see here in Pennsylvania. I don't think they congeal into a line necessarily. That would suggest more of a wind or a tornado risk than would be a hail risk. We go to 9 o'clock and suddenly they're cells. So I don't know what's happening with this model. There's 7, nothing. Then just like John Madden, boom, 8 o'clock. There's a line suddenly. And 9 o'clock, suddenly there's cells. I don't know what to make of that other than I am looking more towards cells. That's what I'm looking at. I'm not necessarily looking at a linear thing, at least not until later. But then the HRRR overall shows a much cleaner looking front overall, a much better behaved front than the NAM. And everything's gone by about 5 a.m. and skies will start clearing and Monday will be cooler. So let's look and see if the 18Z is complete yet. It's only out till 3 o'clock, so I'm going to leave that for my next analysis. That'll probably just be a text and photo post, but I just wanted to get this out here because it's been a while since I've done one of these, so I just wanted to come on here and share that with you and share the latest information about tomorrow. So again, just in summary, there is an overall level 2 out of 5 severe risk, and I'm still starting it at 5 p.m. because something could pop up before then. So 5 p.m. tomorrow till 4 a.m. Monday, that still seems like a fair window at this point. I hope to narrow that in the next update or two. But for now, if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them in the comments. And otherwise, I will talk to you again in the evening briefing. So for now, this is Ken McNatt with the MOV Weather, wishing you a wonderful day, and please remain weather aware.